Welcome to Narcissistic Abuse Rehab. My name is Em. Today we're going to talk about why narcissists scapegoat their children. Today I'll be answering a question from Craig, a member of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, about the scapegoating narcissist parent. If you have a question you'd like me to discuss, send an email or an audio message to narcissisticabuserehab@gmail.com. Before we get into it, if you find this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and share this video with 2 friends to help grow our channel. Craig writes, I'm getting bullied and harassed by a bunch of online trolls. They're hateful toward me and use my words against me, all because I spoke out against my abusive father. Can you make a message about sociopathic or narcissistic fathers who are jealous of their son's success and will do anything to sabotage it? So, I'm a life coach specialized in trauma recovery and cognitive behavioral therapy. I don't provide medical or psychiatric diagnoses. I encourage anyone who is a target for narcissistic abuse to seek treatment from a licensed psychologist. With that said, I'm going to give you my opinion based on the information in Craig's message, and I'm going to speculate about what might be going on with a narcissistic parent who envies their child's success. I'm going to try to help you understand what might cause a narcissistic parent to scapegoat their child. I think it's important to recognize what's going on with narcissistic parents to make them so cruel and cause so much pain in their families. This way, you can still regard them with clarity, even if you decide to minimize contact with them for a time or do whatever you have to do to protect your mental health from their aggression. To appreciate what's going on with your dad, it's important to understand that narcissistic personality, it's a trauma response to childhood neglect and rejection that fills the individual with such a deep and all-encompassing shame that they invent a false self to shield their wounded true self. Over time, the narcissist's false self becomes a prison. Their true self never gets to evolve, and this is why they can be emotionally stunted, cruel, vindictive, and abusive. So, even though your dad is your parent, if he's a narcissist, emotionally he's like a 2-year-old with a very flimsy grip on reality whenever his false self is threatened. The tantrums, the rage, the demands, the senselessness of the behavior of a narcissist is identical to any toddler. When it comes to narcissistic families and other systems, attitude reflects leadership. If the leadership is disordered, then the whole group will be a mirror of their dysfunction. The way family systems expert Jerry Wise describes this is that all members of a narcissistic family function as an extension of the narcissist's super self. In other words, none of the family members are allowed to be separate from the narcissist. They must remain in the roles the narcissist wants them to play. This gives the narcissist a feeling of power and omnipotence. Narcissistic families are dysfunctional. That's a word we hear a lot, and it means that something is unhealthy, impaired, abnormal. This is a key understanding for adult children of narcissists because it helps us to adjust our expectations to reality. A narcissistic parent's love is conditional. It isn't healthy love at all. It's favor, and it's about control. Narcissists use intermittent reinforcement to manipulate anyone who seeks their validation and approval. This is coercive and controlling behavior that's designed to break down the inner self of another human being and make them compliant with the narcissist's whims. For more on this topic, watch my video, What is Coercive Control? And it's in this defense posture that you can really understand what's going on with your damaged parent. You already know that he's jealous of you, that he covets what you have. The reason he wants to sabotage you is that he wants to dominate and control you so that the balance can be restored in his mind, so that he can continue to believe that his false self is real and that everyone else is beneath his wonderful invention, even his own son. Is it childish? Yes. Is it destructive? Yes. Is it the height of selfishness? Yes. But emotionally, your parent is still a toddler, and the only way to stop their tantrum is to indulge the illusion of their superior false self. But in some instances, if you're dealing with a malignant narcissist, even that might not be enough. In order for a narcissist to function, they must be surrounded by people who regard them as perfect and superior. In other words, to be in the narcissist's clique, you must be willing to subscribe to the narcissist's version of reality. And what that usually entails is embracing the myth that they're better than you and everyone else. In my video, 4 Subtle Ways Narcissistic Parents Abuse Their Children, I talk about how narcissists can't process negative feedback. In other words, they can't take criticism, and by extension, neither can their families. The reason narcissists can't stand criticism is that they're weak. When I say a narcissist is weak, I mean they have incredibly fragile ego structures. Their egos are like a house of cards and are knocked down very easily. This is because narcissists are dependent on their false self to function in the world. Because the false self is fake, it's always in danger of collapse. This is part of their dysfunction. Because narcissistic defenses are relics from primitive stages of development, they resolve threats in a very maladaptive way. They distort reality. They gaslight. Like a toddler closing their eyes and covering their ears, they would rather hide an issue or a problem than solve it. To a narcissist, their false self is their everything. And this is why narcissistic families function like cults, with the narcissist demanding all the members of the family worship and defer to their false self. In order for there to be equilibrium in the family, a narcissistic parent assigns roles to their children. And what this means for children of narcissists is that in order to be accepted, you have to subvert who you are and become the embodiment of what the narcissist wants you to be. Common roles assigned by narcissists to their children are the caretaker, the hero, the mascot, the lost child, the mastermind, the golden child, and the scapegoat. From what you describe, you're being scapegoated by your narcissistic parent because they envy your success. The fact that you developed as a differentiated self, separate from the role your narcissistic parent wanted you to play, is viewed as an act of insubordination to the narcissist, and that alone is a threat to your narcissistic parent's ego. The fact that you are differentiated and successful would cause a severe narcissistic injury. A narcissistic injury is a threat to the narcissist's false self. It can be real or imagined, but what matters is that the narcissist's steely psychological armor has been penetrated and they experience a painful reminder that their false self is an illusion. In other words, your success is a threat to the narcissist's entire ego structure. It could make the house of cards collapse, which would terrify any narcissist and set their dysfunctional defenses on high alert. Their retaliation to narcissistic injuries is to destroy their source. This is usually accomplished by scapegoating whoever they believe is a threat. The narcissist will project all their faults onto you and blame you for their transgressions. This may seem disproportionate and unfair, but in the mind of a narcissist, your success could annihilate their true God, which is their false self. Just by existing, you force the narcissist to confront their greatest enemy, reality. Narcissists believe that hurting someone or destroying someone gives them power over that person. This is why they literally feed off the pain and suffering of people they regard as enemies or scapegoats. The scapegoat's suffering feeds the narcissist's false self. Because narcissists lack boundaries and have a very frail relationship with reality, they will even destroy their own child if that child has caused a narcissistic injury. Your success allows you the freedom to choose whether to have the narcissist in your life or not. And if you have them in your life, how much? My best advice to you would be to build a solid support system and seek counseling from a family systems and trauma expert. If you would like a recommendation from me, send an email to narcissisticabuserehab@gmail.com. Craig, I hope this helps answer your question, and I hope this resonates with other adult children of narcissists out there and reminds you that you're not alone. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to help grow this channel. If you want to understand the behavior of trolls or digital flame monkeys, visit our new website, narcissisticabuse.rehab.com, and check out our article, The Narcissists Flying Monkeys. I put a link for you in the description box. Also, we're on Instagram, and you can follow us at NarcAbuseRehab. Now it's your turn. If you've had experience with a scapegoating narcissistic parent, how did you handle it? What was it like to go through that? Please let me know in the comments down below. Guys, that's it for now. Be good to yourself, and we'll talk again soon.